Ted Cruz is a walking paradox. Voters love him right now, and yet everyone who has ever met him personally seems to despise him. He's like a smarmy Medusa, except instead of turning people to stone, he makes people feel strongly inclined to write an op-ed in the New York Times about how terrible he is. But don't worry, Teddy. I've never met you, and my opinion of you isn't going to change. This is why Ted Cruz will never be president. Howdy gang, Ted Cruz's candidacy is a very sensitive topic for me. As a Texas expatriate myself, it's appalling to me that right now we have a candidate for president representing Texas that does not have the one aspect of being a Texan that I hold dear. Shame. Ted Cruz was the very first politician to announce his candidacy for the 2016 presidential race in the packed auditorium of Liberty University. What an incredible turnout of grassroots young supporters.
What you probably don't know is that the students were forced to be there because if they didn't attend this event, they would have to pay a $10 fine.
That's kind of messed up. I know Liberty University is a highly Christian institution and Ted Cruz espouses Christian values, sort of, if being disingenuous and looking like Grandpa Munster are Christian values, but it still seems kind of messed up to me to make all these college students attend this mandatory, highly partisan political rally. Also, you're holding a mandatory event at Liberty University? That's like making the students of Yeshiva University hang up Christmas decorations, or making the students of American University hang their flags of Botswana at half-staff on Canadian Independence Day. Additionally, any mandatory event on a college campus is automatically a bummer. I could get a notification right now that the Pope, the Dalai Lama, and Jack Black were having a seminar on general badassery, and if it were before 4 p.m. and mandatory, I'd sit in the back on my phone the whole time. So surely at least some of the students of Liberty University were upset that this event made them show their implicit support for Kevin from The Office with hair plugs.
Did you notice something a little awkward in the background there? You see those red shirts? That's a group of Senator Rand Paul supporters crashing Senator Cruz's big announcement.
Okay, that's pretty funny. So with his campaign off to a less than enthusiastic start, how did Ted Cruz manage to gain so much traction? Was it his pointed, effective criticisms of President Obama, as evidenced by his response to the 2015 State of the Union speech?
Median incomes have stagnated for over a decade. Let me start over.
Nope. Maybe he has an excellent grasp on social media. Let's use the barometer of his most liked tweet of all time as an example. Wow, a cow made of butter. My girls would love it. In fact, the first sentence Caroline ever said was, "I like butter." This tweet is truly enlightening. For one thing, we now know that just naturally in Ted Cruz's travels, he has encountered a cow made of butter. So this begs the question, did he stumble upon it, or did he actively seek it out? Also, how much butter is Ted Cruz feeding his children that his daughter's very first sentence would be, "I like butter," and not, "Oh, I don't know, I love you, Dad"? Despite my fascination with this tweet, it cannot single-handedly explain the surge in support for Ted Cruz. Perhaps he's received some endorsements from other prominent Texas politicians.
George W. Bush slamming Ted Cruz, the firebrand Texas senator gunning for his old job and running against his little brother, Jeb. The former president surprised a room full of donors in Denver Sunday night, saying of Cruz, "I don't like the guy."
Wow! George W. Bush, a man who not only tolerated, but embraced the warm personality of Dick Cheney for 8 years, has some qualms with Ted Cruz personally. How evil could he possibly be? So, if the conservative establishment isn't supporting Ted Cruz, who is?
My qualifications for President of the United States are rather narrow. Is he or she godly? Does he or she love us? Can he or she do the job? And finally, would they kill a duck and put him in a pot and make him a good duck gumbo? I've looked at the candidates. Ted Cruz is my man.
There you go. Ted Cruz has been forced to appeal to the lowest common denominator. By the way, Ted Cruz supporters, the denominator is the bottom half of the fraction. Oh, and the fraction is 2 numbers with a line going through it. And a line is something you had to cross in order to bring yourself to support Ted Cruz. The point is, Ted Cruz has now surged to second place in the Republican primary and is now cutting into Donald Trump's stronghold of Duck Dynasty fans. Duckheads. Mother duckers. One way to combat this surge would be to bring up the fact that Ted Cruz was not born in the United States, and that perhaps that brings up some constitutional eligibility questions. After all, that same tactic worked on the same group of people when the same person said it about President Obama a few years ago, and President Obama was actually born here. But on this issue, Donald Trump is taking the high road.
This isn't me saying it. I don't care. I think I'm going to win fair and square. I don't have to win this way. Here's the problem. We're running. He does great. I win. I choose him as my vice presidential candidate, and the Democrats sue because we can't take him along for the ride.
Absolute genius. Me, I don't care where you were born. Maybe you were born in Timbuktu, doesn't matter. But the Democrats, they're gonna bring it up. Donald Trump is introducing all of the doubt and shouldering none of the responsibility. But the best part about this was when Trump was then accused of political opportunism.
But why now? Why are you raising this issue now?
Because now he's doing a little bit better. No, I didn't care before. It's true. No, it's true. Hey, look, he never had a chance. Now he's doing better. He's got probably a 4 or 5% chance.
Oh, man. See, Ted Cruz just doesn't get it. He tries so hard to hide the fact that he's a despicable, simply reprehensible person. But that's politics as usual. Voters support Donald Trump because he has nothing to hide. He's openly despicable and reprehensible. But see, that wasn't even Ted Cruz's worst moment of the night.
He said, look, I'm from New York. That's what we believe in New York. Those aren't Iowa values, but this is what we believe in New York. And so that was his explanation.
New York is a great place. It's got great people. It's got loving people, wonderful people. When the World Trade Center came down, I saw something that no place on earth could have handled more beautifully, more humanely than New York. You had 100.
If you ever doubted before just how feckless and facetious and fickle Ted Cruz was, look no further than him applauding Donald Trump's attack against him because 9/11 was mentioned. Make no mistake, Ted Cruz is a master of political calculus. But like that annoying kid in your high school calculus class who was naturally good at math and had that smug little grin every time he got his test back, he uses his powers for evil! So it's no wonder that virtually every Republican, from the moderate oldies to the conservative newbies, are running the duck away from Ted Cruz.
In December, Dole told MSNBC if Cruz was the final Republican candidate going into the polls,
well, I might oversleep that day.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be in Iowa. We're here just thawing out, lending our support for the next president of our great United States of America, Donald J. Trump. Mr. Trump, you're right. Look back there in the press box. Heads are spinning. Media heads are spinning. This is going to be so much fun.
Oh God, Ted Cruz, what have you done? I thought she was gone forever, but you've opened Wasilla's box! But even this was not enough to spell doom for Ted Cruz's campaign. No, one more high-profile endorsement recently has put the final nail in the coffin.
It's a divided duck dynasty, with Willie Robertson supporting Donald Trump.
It's a man I'm standing behind this year to be the next president of the United States, to help make America great again.
Yeah, that is why Ted Cruz will never be president. You nosedived down to the floor, grabbed a tiny water bottle, maintained eye contact with the camera, kept looking back and forth as if to say, do you think the American people are noticing this right now? And then nosedived back down to put the water bottle back.